to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
What's up?
What is going on? Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 82. Remember, as we are building up, as we are becoming real estate entrepreneurs, we need to focus on three parts of our real estate business. That is number one, lead generation. That is the engine of our business. Without leads, there's nobody to help out. There's no problems that we can solve. All right. The second part is conversion. You can have as many leads as you want, but if you can't convert them, then nothing happens, right? That's where the people skills come in. That's where pre-qualifying and following up with your leads and doing an incredible offer presentation come into the game. And the third part is exit strategy. Exit strategy. What are you going to do? There's three options. Are you going to wholesale it? Are you going to hold it and rent it, or are you going to flip it? Don't overcomplicate this business. That's why every single week for 82 straight weeks, technically 83 straight weeks, it is my pleasure to be the one talking about lead generation. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, joined with our conversion expert, Pace Morby here. He is the one that goes right through and closes all of those deals. And then, of course, we got the Big Daddy Jamil, who shows us all how to get the most out of every single deal. So today's show, guys, listen, we break down the show into those three parts, but the number one, the big rock, the big foundation of this show that we really want to push and really want to influence you is to squad up with the people on the show. Squad up with people in your community. Squad up with people that are like us, that have this crazy electric brain that thinks different than anybody else, different than our family, different than our friends that we grew up in high school with, different than the people we went to college with, different than everybody else. We want to be real estate entrepreneurs, and we're serious about it. And that's why we need to squad up with people that look and act and feel and experience the same things that we are. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. It just matters that you are here. So welcome, Wholesale Hotline number 82. Let's get it going.
Woo! What's cracking, Brent? What's going on, Pacer? Who's that beside you?
So this is Justin. He's from Atlanta. I just want to talk about him for 30 seconds. We'll put him
What
on
up, Justin?
What's going on, y'all?
I make a post on my Instagram like 2 days ago. And the post was, hey guys, I'm going to go drive properties on Sunday and I'm going to go on a little road trip. Whoever wants to come, the first 3 people that reply, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you live. I want you to come out and spend the day with me. And Justin replies immediately and he says, yo, I have flight benefits from my previous job. I'm jumping on a plane right now. So before I even said yes, he was already booking a flight. Like,
damn,
the leap of faith he took. He posts a comment and I see what he was doing. I'm like, bro, you're in. I'll see you tomorrow night. So we spend the whole day together yesterday. And then he spent the night at my house. I never met him before until yesterday morning, literally. and now he's been hanging out at my house all day long. And the reason why I wanted to have Justin on the show is because we'll get to a point in the show where I gave him some advice yesterday, and it all has to do with the topic of this show.
Absolutely.
But we'll put Justin on ice a little bit, and we'll kind of introduce him a little bit, give everybody his contact information. But I'm really actually excited about the main guest of the show today.
So the topic of today's episode is squatting up. And there isn't a better example of squatting up than Brent, myself, and Pace, because the three of us squatted up with each other to create what, in my opinion, is the best wholesaling podcast that ever exists and ever will exist. But in addition to that, we affected each other's lives by being open, by being available to each other, and truly giving from our hearts without even questioning how it was going to benefit us. And that, in turn, just blew our businesses up. And I can start by saying that I was helped a lot in the beginning from Brent Daniels. Brent Daniels was the first individual that ever put me on a platform that ever said, Jamil, talk about what you're doing in the business. What you're doing is important. What you're doing is the future. People don't know who you are. He gave me a platform. He gave me a microphone. He said, go out there, tell everybody your name, tell everybody why it's important that they look at this business from different points of view and why exit strategy is so important. And if it hadn't been for Brent doing that, I would have never, ever even been on this show. None of this would have happened. And so I can tell you that squatting up for me has been a phenomenal part of my business. And then also beyond that, Pace talks all the time about how I've helped him. But what you guys don't understand is Pace has helped me a ton. When Pace was first getting started in wholesale, yes, he was asking me questions. Yes, I was helping him. At the same time, this dude was opening up every single door to every homevestor wholesaler that was in Phoenix that was doing direct-to-seller deals that could benefit my business. He was introducing me to people all over town. He was introducing me to trades, some of the trades we still work with today. I mean, the squatting up, the capacity to be able to help each other, the capacity to add to each other's lives has been exactly the reason why I think everything that we've done has been so successful. So to you two guys, I love you and thank you.
Love you, buddy. Yes. I love it. Listen, and not only that, I mean, we have a wonderful example. We're going to bring Michael on here in just a little bit. We're going to warm up. We're going to get enough. Yeah, there you go. Michael's getting ready.
He's bumping back there backstage.
Oh,
there we go. What's up, Michael?
Yo, what's up? How's it going?
This
It's
is
so incredible. I mean, so unreal to be sharing the screen with you guys. Oh my goodness.
Bro, we were just talking about that with you. Like, we're excited to be on the screen with you. I think, do you know, Michael, that you sold me a deal even though you and I never talked to each other?
Do I know? Thank you, Pace. Of course I know. I mean, both the deals. I mean, the one that just closed today, actually. You know, we just got the check. Steve and I just got the check today. So, I mean,
which deal is that?
I don't know the
is it
exact
the 0% seller finance?
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Freaking love it. So,
I think
Michael,
12 unit.
What's funny
Like that.
is I had no idea, dude. So, guys, I'm going to give the audience a little bit of back history. Okay. So, Michael, you're a TTP student, right?
Brett.
Okay. So,
come on. Yeah.
I want you guys to know TTP stands for two things. Okay. It stands for talk to people, right? Brent freaking invented that and it's changed the game. The second thing it means is when you get a creative finance deal, TTP means take it to Pace. and what happened, here's even better. Instead of you bringing it directly to me, Michael, because I'm busy and really the most people I spend the time with on a daily basis are my students, right? I have an obligation to making sure that I build that community and TTP and Astro and whatever else too. But you don't reach out to me. How did I buy 2 deals from you? How did you get checks? And this is my first time meeting with you and talking to you. How did that all happen?
Through Steve, my guy, Steve. I know you're watching this. I love you, bro.
Tell the audience who Steve
is. Steve is someone part of the Sub 2 mentorship. You know, he reached out to me actually through IG when I was actively posting on my Instagram, my wholesaling Instagram. And you know, I was originally calling in Southern California, and he reached out to me, told me how he's part of Sub 2 and how you know, if I have any leads that you know, want full retail, to bring it to him, and we just kind of talked, and he actually presented the opportunity of pulling a list for me and me calling out there in Yuma, Arizona.
Guys, I got to put this on pause for just a second, because here's what's amazing about this is Stephen Crawford a year ago, Brent and Jamil, Googled, I'm not shitting you, he Googled how to get rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. He Googles how to get rich, He ultimately, Google says, well, obviously you got to get into real estate. So what does he Google next? He Googles how to get into real estate. He then finds Steve Trang's podcast on YouTube. He sees Brent, he sees Jamil, he sees me, he sees Jerry Norton, and something with me resonated with him. I don't know if it was because of my blue collar background or what it was, but something resonated. He ends up joining my mentorship. And in 2 weeks, his life changed, because here's what happened. This guy, the reason why he was Googling how to get rich is because his boss passed him up on a job promotion, and they promoted somebody from outside the company. This is what the boss said. The boss told Steve, if you go get your pilot's license, I will give you a raise and I will give you a promotion. So Steve goes and spends 15 grand in 2 years of his life to go get his pilot's license. He gets it. And then the following week, his boss gives the promotion to somebody not even inside the company. So Steve is like, F this, are you kidding me? There's something better for me. And guys, if you have that feeling, like, raise your hand, put a thumbs up in the comments. So he Googles and he finds all of us on YouTube. He joins my mentorship, and in 2 weeks, he gets a dead wholesaler lead, which means the seller wanted way too much money. And he squatted up with that wholesaler based on what I was teaching him. And he got his first 0 down, 0% interest deal that he makes to this day $1,000 a month, every single month on his first deal, right? And what was better is he made 20 grand up front. And I'm not going to get into the whole story of that, but here's what I loved about Steve. Steve, from the very beginning, what he loved about Wholesale Hotline is he was like, I'm not spending money on any cold callers, texters. I'm not doing anything but one thing. And the only thing I'm doing is squatting up with other wholesalers and bringing them value. So here he is now, a year later, Steve, who's a crop duster and a chemical mixer. So I'm not degrading his profession or what he's done to support his family. He was.
He's going full time, baby.
That's
full
right.
Time.
He's going full time. And the reason being is because he squads up and he provides value. Ring that bell, dude. Ring that bell.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what happens. And this is the power of communicating with other people and other mentorships, because Brent really hammers on TTP and talking to people and getting on the phone and getting deals happening, right? So what happens is Steve goes to your Instagram. He's like, yo, why don't we work together? I'll pull a list for you and you can call it, and then I'll work out and negotiate these creative finance terms. So you guys go lock up 2 mobile home parks, and Steve goes, I don't know what to do with these. And so Steve brings them to me, and I pay, what do you know how much you made on it, Michael?
So we did a 25-75 split, because he brought the buyer and he converted. We made, $30K, and I had 7,500 out of that. So it was a huge win.
You went and got a deal at full retail, and you still made $7,500.
Yep. You know it. It was awesome. It's awesome.
Well, that also, I mean, that just goes to show you that it's not just, you got to step out and call on some of these bigger projects. You know what I mean? It's not just, calling on houses, but calling on some of these bigger projects, some of these bigger multifamily, some of these bigger mobile home parks, whatever it is. Start stretching, start getting creative. If you're feeling like, yeah, I'm pretty good at getting deals from condos, townhouses, and single family, but I'd like to do bigger stuff. I'd like to get more experience and be well-rounded in all different types of real estate. Start stepping out a little bit. Start investigating where these, property owners are, and see where their prices are coming in at, and then put them in front of people that want to take them down and own, all of them.
What I love about this is that you utilize what you already knew, and you weren't afraid to jump into mobile home parks. Like Brent's saying, you understood there's the most powerful community in terms of cold calling and talking to sellers is TTP. Okay, so you leverage what you were taught by your mentor, and you go, you know what? I don't care what list I'm calling on. I'm going to generate leads. And because I squatted up with somebody who has a different skill set than me, I know I'm going to make money, even if it's at full retail. And even if it's on an asset class I know nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah, it happened on accident, really. You know, we called on an absentee owner list. That
Jamil,
original
hold on.
seller wasn't.
Michael, before you go into that, Jamil, does anything happen on accident?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as accidents, man. You end up exactly where you're supposed to be. Wherever you have a vibrational match, that's what ends up happening in your life. I guarantee it.
Go ahead, Michael. How did you? So you called on a different property. I know where you're going with this, and I love it.
Yeah, you know. I just ran the script. You know, I called on his a rental property, and then he wasn't looking to sell that, and I asked him, is there anything else you're looking to sell? You have any other property or land that you're looking to sell? And he brought up that, and I didn't know how to pre-qualify for something like that, but I did my best, and I asked for how many units and how much the rents were going for, how the spaces, and just kind of made the transition to Steve, and Steve took it from there. I think it was the right time for the guy, and timing was perfect. So it all worked out and all fell in place. And now it's just opened up everything for us now. It's what we're focusing on. It's one of our main focuses. So, I mean, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
And you see that's one of the most amazing byproducts of squatting up is you start to create new neural pathways in your brain of how to connect the dots. You see, a lot of times people would just walk away from a situation like that and say, there's no equity here. There's no wholesale deal here. There's nothing for me to do here. But by listening or showing up to Wholesale Hotline week after week, he knows and realizes that, hold on a second, there's a guy out there who tells people that he can convert retail leads into cash dollars. I need to find out who is working with that guy, be it Pace Morby, who's working with Pace Morby, so that I can squat up with them and turn this lead, which could essentially be trash if you look at it from a wholesaling point of view, and how to turn that into a $7,500 check, or actually a $30,000 check, $7,500 of which came to you. I mean, right there, guys, that is an example of how you make lemonade from lemons. It's incredible. Incredible work.
And
here's what I also loved about this. Okay, so Steve Crawford is also an Astro student, and he also used Astro flipping to essentially sell the deal. So Michael, you used TTP, and Steve Crawford used creative finance to lock up the seller, and then Steve Crawford used Astro flipping to bring the deal to me. So, dude, I'm telling you, like, it is crazy how perfect this whole relationship is, because it shows how important of having multiple people of different skill sets is. The Avengers are not 7 Hulks. You know what I'm saying? It's not 7 Iron Men. It's different strategies all over the place, and you squad up with each other. It's so absolutely stupid, like how powerful it is. And when Jamil and Brent and I go do meetups, or we, even in my DMs, people say, aren't you guys competitors? I don't get it. Like, why are you hanging out with your competitors?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Brent, like, was there ever a point in your life coming up in this business that you felt like you really couldn't collaborate with your competition? And was there something that broke through, or has it always been collaboration?
It's been interesting for sure. In the beginning, I think that if you think that people are going to be your friends, then they tend to be your friends. If you think that people are going to be, like standoffish and timid, and people mirror people. You know what I mean? Like, we mirror people. So if somebody's acting like that, so if you want to be the magnet, right, the magneto in your area, in your group, and whatever, you go. I'm telling you, Michael, there's a reason you got this deal, and I know what it is. It's your energizing enthusiasm, brother. You have great energy, and you can hear it. Like, if people just close their eyes and just listen to you talk, you know that there is energizing enthusiasm. And when you go, it's the same as meeting somebody face to face. When it's over the phone and they have that energy, all of a sudden you kind of let your guard down a little bit. That little bulletproof vest that every stranger wears to protect themselves, which is fine. I totally get it. it starts melting a little bit. And then all of a sudden you get the opportunity to ask the second question. If you have energy, when you ask them the first time if they would consider an offer on their property and they say no, and then you hit them with, do you have any other properties, maybe a piece of land or something else that you would consider selling? You don't get to that question if you do not have energy. I am telling you, you don't get to that question. You are shut down instantly because they're like, what is going on? This doesn't feel good. I'm mirroring and matching their energy. I don't like it. So I'm going to shut them down. You go with an energizing enthusiasm. You will get deals off that second question every single week.
Whoa, can we freak
I
out?
learned that from you, Brent.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ring
That's
the
why
bell one more
I
time.
rented it
Please ring the bell. I'm
PPP.
just
I mean,
energized, dog. I'm energized from Michael. I'm so energized.
that's how I am on the phone. You know, I have a little mini basketball hoop, and you know, every time I make a contact, yes, no, maybe, I dunk that.
Yep.
I dunk that. So you know, that's how I've been staying energized. I mean, energy, keeping me energized on the phone.
He said he dunks on a yes, no, and a maybe. So anytime he just gets to talk to somebody, he gets energized and happy. That's the kind of enthusiasm, guys. That's the attitude you need to bring to the table every single day that you want to connect. You know, I learned that from my good friend Matthew Ferry. You guys know who Matthew Ferry is, Brent?
Incredible.
I saw you do a live or something with him a week ago, right?
This guy is like the mindset. When you're talking about magnetism, Brent, so he was trained by Earl Nightingale. You know that, like Napoleon Hill's, the first crew of personal development people?
Yep.
So that's the pedigree that Matthew Ferry came from. And he taught me all about magnetizing myself, getting myself into that place of high energy, of high vibe, the same kind of enthusiasm you see Brent, myself, and Pace bring to the show every week. I'm actually doing a workshop with Matthew. Emily, if you're watching this, do me a favor, put the link in the chat. There's like, what, over 300 people watching this right now. All 300 of you should sign up. It's free. Just do the workshop. Figure out how to get your mindset figured out. Because look, this Mike guy, he knows what's up. He's got it. He's front and center. He's on Wholesale Hotline. How many of you have had that as a goal, to make it on a Wholesale Hotline? A lot of
Real
folks.
quick, let's ring the bell for Bell while we're getting that posted.
Her name is Tanisha. She is one of my students, and I'm telling you that.
Go. That's awesome.
So Tanisha is one of the most selfless go-givers I've met in the last year. I text her, okay? I literally text her and I go, how can I hire you? I need you in my world. You're unbelievable. You're so great. Because she's so loving. She's such a go-giver. And she's amazing. So congratulations, Tanisha. You well deserved. So amazing. Did you guys see this comment, by the way, from Daryl Ellison?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
Amazon's about to sell out of those basketball hoops, bro. Woo, that's so good. That's awesome. Michael, you made between the two deals, what did you make?
Total
$10,000.
Nice.
You made
10 grand.
You made like 10 grand?
10 grand.
Okay, so one of my favorite questions that Brent gets all the time. Okay, this is a little bit of a deviation. It's one of my favorite questions. People say, well, what do I do with my checks when I get my checks? So let's say you got 10 grand in the bank. There's nobody better at answering this than Brent. I think Brent has really helped Jamil and I, even the way we manage our money and the books that we read around managing our money. So Brent, do you have any advice for Michael on what he should do with that 10 grand?
Listen, I know Michael knows what to do with that 10 grand. I know because I coach Michael on what to do with that 10 grand. What do you do with that 10 grand, Michael?
You know what? I've kind of strayed away from your teachings. I mean, what I have set with this 10 grand is, put it back in, man. I'm just going to put it back in. Keep some of it for myself, set it aside. Take my family out to dinner.
What are you going to put it into?
You know what? What we're doing right now, we're going to stay the course with, finding multi-unit properties, multifamily 5+, stick with that. But then we're also squatting up with someone in Keighley, actually. I have his name here, Jacob Fullerton.
Oh, wicked.
He's been a real help. We're trying to enter like a virtual market in Indiana, and he provided some contracts. And I sourced my a VA through Facebook, and
awesome.
we're trying to hit that hard. And I'm investing in them and trying to build a team right now. And I mean, that's the lane that we chose, and I think that it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out. So far, so good. I mean, just yeah. So right now, the three main things is cold calling multi-unit properties, training my VA, and getting this wholesale virtual wholesale
Hey, Michael,
going.
what's your cell phone number?
What's my cell phone number?
Yeah, don't give me your enemies. Give me an email or your cell phone number. What do you got?
My personal cell phone number is 818.
Yes, there it is. Give me the personal cell phone number right now. What is it?
9359. So
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
818-984-9359. If you guys are looking to buy multi-unit properties, cash buyer, I mean anybody really. So hit me up.
So guys,
and if you just want to squat up,
text Michael right now and tell him congratulations, and then give him a nice little golden bell in the text. Just text him congratulations. Text him. Everybody text him right now. We got close to 300 people right in here watching right now. Text this guy.
I think something that I can provide a value, if being that accountability partner, right? So if you're about to hop on the phones and you need someone to pump you up, I'll shoot you a text. Let's get it, man. I'll hype you up. Talk to people. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple and bring that energy when you're on the phone.
Bro, Michael, I'm so proud of you. I'm so impressed. TTP is like really put that energy and that fire in you, gave you permission to just crush it. I love the freaking basketball idea. I think a lot more people should be doing that. One of Brent's original callers on his team, one of his acquisition managers, Brent, what did Luke used to do when he worked for you when he was cold calling?
Sorry, that cut out, Pace.
What did Luke that used to work for you? What did Luke used to do while he was cold calling?
Oh, he still does it. He's got a great YouTube channel. It's what is it? The Boys, what is it? Anyway, Luke Rotfold, and I'll think of the name. He's got a great YouTube channel. You can watch him play Madden live while he's doing cold calls.
Oh yeah,
and listen,
awesome.
Listen, this kid is a multi-millionaire. And I'm serious about this. Luke is a multi-millionaire, and he makes calls every single day for 2 to 3 hours. Listen, there's a reason he does that. He's still shoveling every single day because he's not where he wants to be yet. He's not in that perfect passive cash flow area. He likes staying in the grind. He likes putting in the work because, Michael, he keeps his money. He keeps it and invests it. He keeps it and invests it and keeps it.
I was just going to ask, what do you advise?
Sorry, there it is. The Viking Boys. Check them out on YouTube. Honestly, guys, it's a phenomenal. They do a great job on that channel. Alejandra runs it for him. So she does a really good job of putting that together. And Alejandra's obviously been with me for 3 years. So, yeah. Listen, that's something to do. I liked drawing. I liked reading. I liked going and putting together. And I had a cockpit, right? I had all of my scripts and all of my kind of like goals up there and some really inspirational quotes and my kids and all sorts of different things. And it just gets you inspired. You need to get your environment, something that gives you energy. And if you have that, that's going to translate. I don't care if you're in your bedroom. I don't care if you're making calls right next to your closet. I don't care if you know what I mean. You're still making.
I mean, my parents' bedroom usually. I mean, this is just closer to the router. I don't know why the connection was poor, but usually I get like ambient lighting from the window and just kick my parents out when they want to use their room. But they respect the hustle and they understand. So I'm so grateful for them.
Love it. Matt, can you take my phone? Can you post the link?
Michael, so what are you doing now? You said you're trying to go to a virtual market. Which virtual market are you going to?
Indianapolis.
Ooh, I got a lot of students out there doing deals in Indianapolis. You got to squat up with them too. Are you doing virtual stuff with Steve, or are you and Steve going to continue to work together?
Yeah, dude. Steve has been a blessing. I hope I'm so excited for us. I'm excited for us. Yeah. I mean, his superpower is squatting up. So, I mean, he plays his role and I play my role. I think it's going super well.
Amazing. I love the
Mm-hmm.
sound of that. Where do you live currently?
In LA, Southern California,
Awesome.
San Fernando Valley specifically.
So it's
Mhm.
possible to do virtual deals in any part of the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes you got to wake up a little bit earlier. Now I have to adjust my schedule to be able to make those calls before work. So, wake up. Now I'm waking up at 5 so that I can meet with my cold caller before she hops on the phones, and then do any follow up. I'm time blocking like 3 hours to do some follow up. We're not there yet where we have a whole bunch of follow ups to do that, but I'm preparing for that, and just make those adjustments, and I think it's gonna work out.
So Michael, you're working a full-time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Pace.
I was going to say just about this comment right here from Carlos Gonzalez. Did anybody see my Instagram story of Brent Daniels on my Instagram stories? What was it called? Neighborhood Ambassadors.
Neighborhood Ambassadors, yeah. Door knocking crew.
And it was.
Can you pull that picture up, Pace? Is that possible?
What's that?
Can you pull that picture up?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
This is great. Guys, listen, like totally broke, just climbing out of it, had a big judgment, lost 5 properties to foreclosure, like the whole thing. And I had to figure out something. So I went down to like this store that sold like athletic polos for like golfers. And I slapped on a neighborhood ambassador. We bought 3. And that's really interesting now that I'm reflecting on this, because that's what I wore every day. And now I wear this every day. That's strange. I must be a pattern of mine, But anyway, I would wear that every day, and we go and door knock. There we are. Look at those.
Wow.
Guys. That's it. Yeah. So we
Look
were
at
walking around in slacks, and those are Ferragamo shoes that I got from my dad's hand-me-down. And that's it. That's my son's now 10, and he was 2 there. So I'm telling you, man, it's wild. 8 years ago. Yep. Knocking doors every single day, asking people if they would consider an offer on their property. And really, I just did that to get over that xenophobia, right? Xenophobia is the fear of strangers, right? It's, we're just born. The way that we're innately, for a lot of different reasons, we avoid strangers, especially when we're little and we're taught that. And then you have to kind of break out of that. You got to find a way to communicate and put your energy out there. And I was still swole. Listen, I was a lot thinner then. I'll be honest, a lot tanner too. That's what happens when you're door knocking in 115 degrees. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. You get older, you get kids.
Michael, while we've got you on here, and we're gonna transition to some Q&A, and we appreciate you being on here. Tremendously appreciate you being on here. Let me ask you a couple questions. What would be a couple pieces of advice you would give to the audience right now that might be struggling? They might not think this is real. Maybe they're not squatting up. What would you give, some advice to those people?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. There's no losing. There's only lessons, right? So go out there, take massive imperfect action. Mistakes and bumps in the road are inevitable. And it's not a perfect ride. I actually, saw this picture that Ryan, also a TTP student and a sub-2 student, Ryan Weimer.
Yep.
Oh, he's so awesome. He's doing such great things. He's awesome. But the life of an entrepreneur is not just like a straight line. It's just like, oh, you think you're doing good, and then boom, oh, I think this is not working, and then it's like a gradual incline up with dips. And it's only temporary, right? There's highs and there's lows, and you just got to stick around and just push through and just keep doing the work. Keep doing the work.
What about in regards to squatting up with people that people might not trust other people? Because I see that all the time. What if somebody goes behind my back? What if this? What if that? People that might have trust issues and haven't squatted up. Do you have any advice for them?
I'm a naturally trusting guy, so, it could have been anybody. It could have been Steve. It could have been anybody. But, if they do me dirty, the way I see it is that, it's their loss. right? I think that, yeah, I'm a great guy to work with. So I mean that I'll just you know, it's, yeah, again,
Jamil,
like I said,
Jamil, real quick, because you're mindset guy. I think my mindset has changed almost every single day I spend with you. What would you say to people that are having a hard time trusting and, you know, jumping into the squatting up process?
I think it's normal. You know, we are subconsciously programmed to be fearful, to be protective. And, you know, it's not important that you feel bad about that. You don't need to feel guilty or wrong or bad that you have a natural mechanism that tries to keep you safe. But here's the thing, right? Entrepreneurship is the exact opposite of that. Entrepreneurship is being out on a ledge. It's being out in a very uncomfortable environment. There's no safety in entrepreneurship, but what you gain, what you lose in safety, you gain in opportunity. And you're not going to get to the heights in life that you want to get to by playing it safe. So you've got to start doing these things that are uncomfortable. You've got to start trusting. You got to start believing in the fact that what you are due or what is coming to you because you're a good person, because you care, because you try, because your goal is to solve problems, that you will be reciprocated with that energy back in return. And so part of squatting up is not being a dick. Look, don't squat up if you're not going to bring the right energy to the relationship. You got to bring that same level of positivity, of help, of being helpful, of really wanting to add to the other person without any other gain. If you bring that mentality to squatting up, you cannot fail. I promise you, you can't fail.
Yep.
And what's really awesome about Steve is that, you know, we talk like every day, right? We have that constant communication. And, you know, we break it down daily on, you know, what tasks we're going to be doing throughout the day. Like, okay, these are the things that I'm doing. These are the things I'm doing. And we hold each other accountable every, like about every day, really. So it's awesome. Steve is awesome.
What I love about this is that you have fun, right? Because so many people out there are these solo islands that it's hard, right? This was advice I gave to Justin yesterday. Is some of the advice I gave to Justin yesterday driving around is I said, you're in Atlanta, one of the greatest cities on planet Earth. And do you know who Chris is? Chris Campbell? Do you know who Chris Campbell is? And he's like, I don't know who Chris Campbell is. And I'm like, he's the owner of a Keighley franchise in freaking Atlanta that has an office and a vibe that you wouldn't even believe. He puts 200, 300 person meetups together. The guy's doing $300,000 a month in wholesale fees. Like, you need to go know him. And so he's like, well, I don't know. So I text Justin and Chris Campbell together. And I'm like, Chris Campbell, let Justin fill maybe some areas in your business that you might be lacking, whether it's running errands, calling leads, doing this, doing that. And the second you know that you have somebody else to collaborate with, the whole game changes. It's like, it takes you back to those late nights on Friday night and Saturday night when you know you're supposed to be home, but you lose track of time because you're having so much fun with your buddies. That's what real estate should feel like. But so many people are out there on their own as islands. They're not squatting up. And now you get to hang out with your friend, Steve. Like, Steve's a friend of yours now, right?
Yeah. Of course.
I mean, you guys just made freaking combined. You guys made $40,000 together on a couple of deals. And you guys get to talk every day and collaborate, and you guys keep each other accountable. If that's not a friend, I don't freaking know what is.
He's a brother, really. Now.
No, he's a brother,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What about old Eddie Charger?
Yeah, come on.
Well, what's funny is the first person I told him to squat up with was Eddie Charger. I told Justin, I said, you don't know Eddie Charger? He's like one of the biggest leaders of Atlanta. He's like Eddie Charger's my brother, Jamil's brother. We get to hang out with him every time we go out to Atlanta. Eddie is unbelievably selfless. And so I told him that I was going to connect him with Eddie as well. So I'm telling you, squatting up is the key. I wouldn't have as much fun in this business if it wasn't for hanging out with the people like Brent Daniels and Jamil Damji. Like, oh my gosh, it is the best.
We spend all day together and we still hang out.
All right.
Listen, this is Eddie Charger from 2018 sending me a picture of a check he just closed. Eddie's legit. Make sure you hang out with Eddie. Make sure Brandon Barnes is in that mix as well.
Oh yeah, Brandon Barnes is dope.
Yep.
Love that. So guys, can we come up with, on the screen, can we all collectively come up with maybe 10 ways that we can squat up with each other? Let's get some like actionable items, right? Because squatting up can be somewhat ambiguous and people go, I don't know what that means. I don't know what squatting up means. So TTP, you want to start us off with a couple of ideas right off the top of your head? What are some things that people can do to squat up with each other?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, obviously you can go to the different groups, right? The Wholesaling Inc. or the Astro or the Sub 2 groups on in Facebook. But Facebook is kind of weird. Sometimes you don't see everybody and whatever else. What I would say is now as things are starting to open up, all of a sudden us crazy people are going to start going to meetups, right? All of a sudden we're going to like just start finding each other in these meetup groups. And when you see somebody that's TTP, you're going to know them. They're the people that, are talking and going and have a sense of confidence about
and
what
they carry a freaking bell around with them. I don't know what.
And carry a bell and are just in, great shape and have good attitudes. No, no, but it just going around and just seeing what training people have done, what they've been into. When you hear somebody say Astro or Keegley and say TTP, that's a perfect marriage. You want to say Sub 2 TTP, that's a perfect marriage. Like there is huge opportunities here to squat up amongst the groups because listen, there's dead leads that a Sub 2 person could see it as a gold mine. There are deals that you think that maybe I don't have the right buyers for it, that a Keegley or Astro student are like, dude, I could sell that 7 times over. Like I got this. So it's really, and by the way, this is already happening with a whole lockdown. I mean, with this show going on during the lockdown and now people starting to go out, I still get texts every day of people doing deals with Keegley and Astro and Sub 2 every single day, literally every day, DMs and texts every day. So it's just going and seeing. I think that it should be a filter for people that you add to your crew. Have you done one of these things? And I think that it's a really nice foundation for a really good squat up group for sure.
So here's the thing that I admire about Brent, because he was a pioneer like years and years ago. Talking about squatting up, Brent, what did you used to do on Saturdays?
Super Saturdays, baby. Get everybody, have one dialer or two. You could have, depends on how many people you have, but then just like, it's a fun thing. It's like somebody at a free throw line, you know what I mean? Or somebody sinking a putt or something, or somebody catching a fucking go route. So it's like they're on stage, they're going right now. They are making calls to distressed property owners right now, and you're celebrating them and you're cheering them on. You say, don't worry about that. I mean, it's an exciting way that should be the start of every meetup group, in my opinion, right? And that should be the start, is just 2 dialers and people just going bananas on those dialers, talking to distressed property owners live. That would be dope. That would be incredible.
Bro,
somebody put that together.
I freaking love that. So I think Super Saturday is something, it's something Brent created, and it was something he thought, well, I want to hang out with people and I want to have fun at the same time. Like this should be fun. So there's other things you can do too. Like a lot of people don't realize they probably, right? We have mid 300 people watching between a couple of different streams. There's a lot of people in here that you guys could go out and drive for dollars with while listening to Wholesale Hotline.
Yeah,
100%.
Right. You have it. You have it on YouTube, or you have it on whatever. You turn it on. One person's phone has it playing. The other person is using their phone, inputting addresses into the phone. So you guys are living the law of duality, where you're doing 2 things, actually 3 things at the same time. You're spending time together with somebody like-minded. You're driving for dollars and looking for distressed properties. And 3, you're learning more about real estate, and you're getting near that campfire, right? The campfire effect of our community that we're building. I think driving for dollars is a really great way to squat up. And I don't see enough people honestly doing that. Jamil, do you have any ideas people could squat up and do something they can physically do or share with each other?
Yeah, I mean, best practices for understanding how to value houses. Truly, I can tell you the biggest drawback, or the biggest thing that I've seen people fail at, is not understanding how much they should be offering on a house. So figuring out, get together. I know this sounds super lame, but try it, right? Have a comping party, have 10 addresses, and then have you guys all comp it together and figure out what would your ARV be? What would your buy price be? And then work it through with each other to figure out who got it wrong or who got it right and why. and then get into that. Look, it's not about coming to Straight Outta Compton and watching my stuff. It's nothing to do with that. This is about you guys taking responsibility for understanding how to value houses. You cannot call look, what's he got for you back there, bro? What is that?
Yeah, what is that? Tell me what that is.
I was just asking my brother to grab a charger. My battery on my laptop.
Oh, I was like, yo, that dude's got chicken wings on a plate there.
No, it's a sandwich. It's 2 sandwiches.
So, you know, figuring out, sharing best practices, like, you know, how are you valuing houses? What are some of the rules that you're following? What are some of the things that you're doing? Any best practice with respect to lead generation that they're going through. So if they're doing cold calling or if they're calling real estate agents, sit there, listen in, let somebody do 5 calls and then critique them. And then you do 5 calls and then have them critique you. Figure out where is your tone wrong? Where is your inflections wrong? Where are you losing the person on the conversation, right? Figure that stuff out. And then secondly, understand how to share buyers. Look, I have not been very positive with trading lists because I don't think that that's a very effective way of being able to do dispositions better. But sharing buyers in a way where you transfer relationships or you open new doors for your buyers to work with other people, there's nothing wrong with that. And for other people to do the same thing for you, that is a benefit. That is a way to be able to sell more deals to each other. So I see it happening in the Astro and Sub 2 and TTP families over and over and over again, where you've got guys that are in virtual markets saying, look, I got a list here, I got a list here, I got a list here. Bring me your inventory. And they're knocking off an additional 3, 4, 5 deals a month just by squatting up with each other and sharing resources.
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna have a meetup about comping and like a comping party, I think you should call it the competition. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the thing about it is it's not the sexiest thing to do. It's not as fun as talking to sellers and like getting that real hunt, you know, in live and in person. But there's something satisfying about figuring out the puzzle. And it's a puzzle. Every time you're looking at a house, it's a puzzle. And there's something satisfying about figuring that out. So any of you guys that are having trouble, I get hundreds of DMs a week asking me, how much is this worth? What do I offer here? What do I offer here? What do I offer here? Since that question is so prevalent, you know, Robin right here, she's been in a mentorship. I've seen her. She's been a part of the Sean Terry Flip to Freedom mentorship. She's a great fan, great family member of ours at Wholesale Hotline. She's one of the quintessential squatter uppers out there, right? If you ever ask Robin for advice or help, she'd be the first one to give it to you. But she shows up. She shows up to every single one of these podcasts. She shows up to comp houses. She shows up to figure this stuff out. That's a part of it too. Show up.
She's showing up in a couple weeks to bring me a delicious pie.
Woo!
Oh yeah, you guys are missing out. I'm telling you. I have never.
Oh, bro, I've had a lot of Robin's pies.
Holy cow!
So good.
Yep. Awesome.
So Michael, what do you need help with in Indianapolis? Like, how can you squat up with people in our audience that are in Indianapolis? I know one of my students, Tia Campbell. She's in Indianapolis. I'd love to connect you with her. Her and her partner have been working out there. What do you feel like you need in that market that you guys are just starting out in?
Boots on the ground, 100%. Yeah, that's the thing that comes to the top of my mind. You know, going into this, I didn't want to think about cash buys. I just wanted to think about, you know, finding leads. So, you know, try to reach out to someone in Keighley and squat up with them, and I did. So we have that connection prepared, but definitely boots on the ground. So if you guys want to help out, and you know, if you want me to bring leads to you, then let's talk. Let's squat up.
Well, let's talk about that specifically, okay? Because I got a question the other day. I've been doing this really fun live with my son and a bunch of other people. The live is like, I'm going to teach my 13-year-old son how to go do a deal in 2 weeks type of thing. And I had somebody on the 4th training. So by this time we've done 8 hours of training, and somebody comes in and goes, what does a title company do? And it's so interesting about our profession is that we forget all these things that we've learned, and that somebody who hasn't done a deal might not have had the chance to learn. So I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but let's talk about what does boots on the ground mean, because I don't think we can ever be too basic, and I don't think we can ever over explain anything. It's like Brent Daniels and Tom Kroll always say, speak to people like they're a third grader, make sure they understand it. And if you can't explain it to a third grader, then you don't understand it yourself. So let's break down, what does boots on the ground technically mean? I'm going to start off with one idea. One, for me, if I was boots on the ground for you, Michael, I would probably go on your appointments for you and actually help you lock up deals, right?
Right.
What else could somebody do that's boots on the ground?
Take pictures of the property. Maybe, drive for dollars.
What about meeting buyers? Like, let's say you get a house
Buyer walkthrough.
Absolutely.
This is something that Keegley does better than anybody I've ever known, ever. When we sell a deal from Keegley and they go and sell it to their buyer, one of the Keegley representatives goes to the house to make sure that everything works out fine. It is like the greatest thing, having a relationship that's willing to make sure that there's a buffer between the seller and the buyer who's coming to the property. So that's boots on the ground too, just protecting that relationship, right? Jamil, Brent, do you guys have any ideas of what boots on the ground technically means?
It's just having, somebody local, someone that you can count on to do stuff for you. Because, look, if you're trying to buy a house in a market outside of you, there could be a circumstance where a seller is going to want to see somebody on your team. They're going to want to know that there's a real human being behind this phone call, behind this offer in my inbox. And having boots on the ground can just get you that credibility, whether it be because you sent them to take a picture, whether that be because they're showing your buyer or showing a buyer the property, whether that be just putting a lockbox on. Maybe they're even going to help you with a trash out. Maybe they help you with possibly even fixing and flipping and bringing contractors. Having boots on the ground means that they've got relationships in that city. Having relationships in that city can now apply or be meaningful to you, because if you need something done, locksmithing, gardening, any of these things, any of these circumstances that you could help a seller out with, now that you've got boots on the ground in that city, you've got relationships in that city, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I think that, listen, I don't know. I don't know if this is just going to be fact or not, but it is my belief that in the next 5 years, everybody's going to have to be licensed. I just
agree.
think that it's going to go down that way. I just think that the writing's on the wall. I think at some point over the next 5 years, pretty much nationwide. So listen, this is a huge advantage. All right. This is a huge advantage, because if you were doing virtual and you have a license and you refer business, you can get a referral fee. It's a huge, this is a great relationship to build with somebody, is with a real estate agent in a different market. One, they understand the terms. Two, get somebody that's young and hungry and that's going to build the team with you. Three, I mean, we're making 8 to 10, it's not life-changing, but 8 to 10,000 just passively a month from referring deals here locally, just in Arizona, to an agent, let alone, to different markets around the country. So I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for a lot of people to squad up with real estate agents in their market, especially once, if you have a license and you could do that. Listen, I know people do it on the sly and people get money and marketing and whatever else, but to do it above board, you need to have a license, and it's a huge advantage if you have a real estate agent in that market, because it's a wonderful symbiotic relationship where you give them a lot of retail opportunities, a lot of opportunities to sell your flips once you get to that point, and they're your boots on the ground. They're your general out there, like really charming up and working with the property owners. So I think that, building that relationship now is going to really pay off a year, 2, 3, 5 years from now, big time.
I couldn't agree with that anymore. And I see DP say on here, he's like, no, we can't speak that into existence. I don't think it's speaking it into existence or not. I think it's just telling you guys as an audience to prepare for something that we're already starting to see trickle through, right? State by state by state. And also, I don't quite understand the aversion to it. I do understand the annoyance of having to go take what does it take? 2 weeks and like $1,300 or something?
Yeah.
So
At most.
I see the aversion to it and the fact that you don't really learn anything in real estate school. I think if you actually learned a lot, people would be more excited about it. But it's like an annoying fly, right? You just got to fly, you know, got to swat it away or whatever. Getting a real estate license, Brent, you're talking about this a lot more than other people are right now.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are so bothered by the concept of having to get a license?
A couple different things. I think the biggest thing is people just don't like taking tests. You know, after high school, people are like, I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take that test anymore. I'm not going to do that thing. It's ridiculous. And listen, for a lot of it, I agree with Michael Diaz. I think it is kind of ridiculous that they would require you to do that to wholesale property, but it's going to happen. Listen, follow the money. They're going to want to get a little bit of access to these deals. They're going to want a little slice of these deals. And so that's why I think it's there. And I would rather be totally wrong, but people are prepared, than all of a sudden it hits your city or your state. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, now I'm virtually doing it. Now you're hopping around all the time. And then that state does it. And it's just a mess. Yeah. Like, I think that, and I think that maybe some people can't pass the fingerprint test. You know, that might be an issue. You know what I mean? It might be an issue that you can't get a license for whatever reason. But that doesn't mean you can't have somebody on your team that has a license. I mean,
that's a great point. Like what you were saying earlier is just squatting up with somebody who does have a license in that state. So like Michael, if you're virtually wholesaling in Indianapolis right now, then probably a good relationship to have is somebody who's licensed. Which, Jamil, are all Keegley franchisees, are they all licensed?
All Keegley staff members are licensed, and the franchise offices are encouraged to have any reps that are talking to people have licenses. So the owners may not require a license, but the reps that they have working for them, they do.
Okay.
Interesting.
Would it matter where to get my license? I mean,
yeah, you got to get licensed where you're operating. It's not you don't get a universal American real estate license. There's different real estate licenses in Southern California as they are in Northern California, and then different parts of Northern and Southern California have different licenses. So it's not cut and dry that having a license is going to, unilaterally give you the right to wholesale, but it will legalize you in the coming years in the market that you're working in. And Brent's right. And I hate the fact that that this is coming down the pipe, and I get it. Guys, I understand getting a license sucks. A lot of the reason why I think people are averse to it or have an aversion to it, Pace, is because they came into wholesaling through an educator that told them that you don't need to get a license, or they come into wholesaling with an understanding that there's no requirement for any further education. And that might be what attracted them to it in the first place. And then also, I mean, us three, we're the first that I've seen in this group, of educators and, in the real estate investing space that have actually been kind and polite to real estate agents. If I go back and I look at some of the things that people have said about and to realtors from the guys that came before us, it was absolute dog shit. They were rude. They didn't have any respect for the people. They treated them like they were second-class citizens. Absolute trash. And so you wonder why real estate agents have an aversion to wholesalers. It's because wholesalers had an aversion to real estate agents. There is so much symbiosis between the two groups where they can work together that kind of attitude was never necessary.
By the way, Michael, right there, Mike Imbriglio, you need to take his name down. I'll get you connected with him. He's been a longtime student of mine. I played golf with him about a year ago. And he's also a mastermind student of mine. He's a leader. He's amazing. Him and his partner are actually not just wholesaling, but they are fixing and flipping in Indianapolis. So he's a great cash buyer for you. He also has boots on the ground. He has the right realtor. He has the right title company. He has the right everything that you need in Indianapolis. And so there's a really good example of squatting up. It's not, we said a bunch of things, but here's another one. What about title companies and closing attorneys? And what about private money lenders? Or one thing, here's what's funny. This is how easy this business gets once you squat up. So I text Jamil like maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I don't even know if Jamil remembers this. I go, hey, Jamil, I've got a fix and flip going in Florida, but I don't have a hard money lender there. I don't Google it. I don't go look for it online. I text somebody I know who has the answer. And Jamil goes, I don't know the name of them off the top of my head. Let me connect you with my guy in Florida. He connects me via group text. 5 minutes later, I've got 3 private money lenders and 1 hard money lender all willing to lend money to me in Florida in like literally a total of 9 minutes. And people are like, how do I find money? How do I do this? How do I do that? Mike and Briglio, that relationship for you, Michael, and your business is priceless. He's the guy that can close your sellers too. So if he's like, hey, let's squat up, we'll go close your sellers. Let's split the deal. I know. Here's another thing that's really important. Talking about comping, Jamil, do you think comping is important? Like zip code to zip code to zip code, there's a little bit different like vibe. Like maybe I'm in South Phoenix versus Arcadia or whatever. Is there differences?
Of course.
So knowing people that live in that area that you're investing is super important because they know the alleyways, they know where the police hang out, they know where all the crime is, they know all that kind of stuff. And so Mike and Briglio is somebody you definitely need to connect with, Michael.
Definitely.
And there's little nuances about neighborhoods that only somebody local would know, right? Look at Brent's house, right? We know Brent lives in a historic district, but 1 street south, you're out of the historic district, or 2 streets south and you're out of the historic district. And Brent, how much of a price differential does it make if you leave the historic district versus the street you're on?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Like $100,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's 9 days. Listen, it's neighborhood by neighborhood. It's street by street. You know what I mean? It takes some time and it takes reps for sure to understand value. Not only that, but even if after you've been in it for a long time, if there's something unique, you got to reach out to a real estate agent that works that market because they know the nitty gritty. They know what's going on there. They know, that this style house on this street is elevated a little bit, and that's going to make it more desirable than this house on this side of the street because it's lower down and they have more susceptible to the 100-year flood. It's shit like that. It's really stuff like that is like real. And that's why, if you don't know, you can reach out to a real estate agent that works in those neighborhoods because there's an agent in every neighborhood.
Here's an interesting thing right here. So, right, Mike and Briglio puts his name and his phone number on the screen. And he says, for anyone looking to squat up in Indy, San Diego, and Florida, here's my cell phone number. Then shortly after that, you get this. I live in Florida. I just don't have the income to start. So haven't we already squashed this? You don't need income to start. You need value to go to somebody like Mike and Briglio and say, hey, Mike, saw your cell phone number on Wholesale Hotline. Thank you for sharing it. My name is Mrs. Perry. I'm gonna try and butcher this name. I'm very sorry. Taquavius.
Yeah.
Okay. I always thought Q was like qua, but Taquavius. Okay. So, hey, this is my name. If there's anything I can do for you physically, putting a lockbox on a house, taking photos, maybe stopping by and freaking being like a sleuth detective on a seller that might not be answering your phone call. I could go knock on the door, leave a note, do 100 different things for a Mike and Briglio. That is technically starting. You don't need money to do that. So guys, this is what we're talking about. Stop the thought process that you don't have money to start. Stop it. You just saw in the same exact comment section, if anybody needs help squatting up, I'm in Florida. Here's my cell phone number. Then the next person says, I live in Florida. I just don't have the money to start. I'm not criticizing you. I think I'm just trying to show you something that is not obvious to you that really should be so incredibly obvious. You look at Michael here. Michael just made 10 grand by squatting up with somebody, not even having to do all the work. Literally, you probably did, I don't know, 30% of the work, something like that. You got the lead. Steven helped you close the lead. Steven sold the lead. He managed the transaction. He was texting me and my bookkeeper the whole time. So like Steve was on it and you made 10 grand.
Crazy.
Bro, Michael, how much did that cost you out of your pocket to do all that?
I mean, I think
could be zero because somebody provided the list to you, right?
Right.
Did you have to go buy a buyer's list, or did you have to go do any of that stuff? You just squatted up and you got the benefits that you really needed, right?
Yep. Less than $300. Less than 200 actually. I mean, just the Mojo dialer, and then there's a list, plug it in, and boom, you're ready.
Yep.
Here we go. Jennifer says, thanks for all your investing in other people's lives and giving away so much of your time, knowledge, wisdom, expertise, and infusing such positivity. I truly appreciate all of you. Guys, we do this. Here's the thing is like, this is something Brent talks about all the time. You got to get loud. When you start squatting up and doing deals with each other, the energy that gets bubbled up inside of you can't help but get loud. Right? Like, Michael, how do you feel after making 10 grand with somebody else's help? How freaking stoked I'm right now.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. I'm still processing it myself. I'm embarrassed to say, but I kept to myself. I mean, I was posting on Instagram for a little while. I was real hot on that, and that's what brought Steve to me. But then I kind of stopped because because I just overthought the whole Instagram.
Well, you didn't want to get too rich. Is that it? You didn't want to make too much money. It's because you have to pay taxes on it, isn't it? If you make $1 million, you got to pay taxes. Is that right? Why you stopped being loud? It obviously was. I'm telling you, it's not rocket science. Post with energy and enthusiasm about what you're doing, and all of a sudden you're staring at 10 grand extra just from one relationship with Stephen Crawford. I mean, guys, just be loud. And
Brent, why do you think that is? Michael, I'd love to hear why you kind of slowed down on that. But Brent, as probably the biggest advocate for getting loud and doing what you did, Michael. Brent, why do you think people do a deal, get a check from squatting up, and then they get away from it?
Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. They think that they're an imposter. They think that they're putting out like investing advice, or that they have to know everything, or, they work at T-Mobile, but they want to be a wholesaler, or they work, driving trucks and they want to be a real estate entrepreneur. And how dare you go out and post stuff that, people are going to see and think that you have a dream and you have a passion outside of the normal, life. And you feel imposter syndrome. You're like, I can't do that. Well,
I can guarantee that's what Michael's going through, because he made a whole Finstagram as a wholesaler. Right. He had a whole fake Instagram, his wholesaling Instagram, bro.
Michael,
I'm just saying, I'm only knocking it because it's true. The only reason why you did that was because you were ashamed. You didn't want people to hold you accountable. You didn't believe that you were going to actually follow through. You thought you might quit, and then you didn't want to get clowned on by the people that were going to clown on you for saying you're a real estate investor. These are all the reasons why people make a second Facebook account. This is the reason why they make a fake Instagram account, because they still haven't committed to themselves that they're going to get it done. And that's okay, Michael. Today you were on Wholesale Hotline, and you have no choice but to carry on.
I know. Oh goodness. Yeah, I'm a true victim of that, really. I started overthinking every post, and I decided to cut it out because it felt like a distraction from making calls. So
lead generation's a distraction, bro. Look at Face. You're making him physically ill. He just
it's the same thing with everybody I spent time with yesterday. They're like, well, I feel like this, I feel like that. I'm like, guys, I probably make $500,000 a year just from my Instagram DMs. Easy. And you know what's funny is I answer all of them. But 2 years ago, before I had students, I would do way more deals. But now that I have students, I just deflect a lot of my lead flow to other people. And I still make $500,000 by cherry picking the ones in the little areas that I'm in. Here's the funny thing is I get anxiety if I don't post 15 times a day, because I've seen the value of what it brings to my business. Here's what's funny. My employees, my partners, my wife, my kids depend on me posting on Instagram. That's the different mentality. And like when people are like, oh, it's a distraction. I deleted my Instagram. Oh my gosh, Michael, you just made 10 grand and $1 million relationship from social media.
Yeah, I did. I haven't been able to connect those two things, but I mean, being here, I mean, is proof. I mean, this just relationship with Steve, and the potential of it. I mean, is like you said, $1 million already. Feels
Not
like $1
only
million.
that, but Michael, he made 30 grand too. You're like, it's like, what? He made 30 grand. You made 10 grand. I mean, holy cow. You don't think that he's going to try to be reaching out to as many people that are excited about this business as possible so that he can make whatever, $1 million this year from this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now,
Can I interject too? Pace, what do you charge? What would you charge somebody to hang out with you all day long in your truck and then sleep at your house? Hold on. And then be able to be right beside you for the entirety of Wholesale Hotline. What would that cost?
I've never charged for it.
If you were to put a dollar value on it.
Dollar value. Here's what I say with value. Value is how, if I put to action the things I've learned, how much money could I potentially learn or make from the things that I learned? Right. That's to me what value is.
$1 million bucks?
Easily $1 million he got yesterday.
Right.
Easily $1 million.
So here's the thing, right? Justin being a real person on Instagram, reaching out, taking action, and then taking a leap of faith gets him in that seat. Ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
Here we go. All right.
I want to know how it's been. Let's hear from him. I want to hear it. Come on, Justin.
Let's hear from him.
How's it been?
It's been great. Even the context of this show, like squatting up the whole entire day yesterday, I think that was really what I needed to know. I think that's what I really needed to learn, because for a long time, I think, when you come into this, it's like, okay, how can I walk a deal from all the way from beginning to end? Whenever, if you just take the time to realize, like, if you squat up and meet with different people, as I've learned through this show, it's like the potential is limitless. You can connect with certain people that has strengths that you don't have, and like I said, the potential is limitless.
One of the small pieces of advice that I gave him is, I give this advice to a lot of people, and this is why, like, being part of a community like Astro or TTP or Sub 2 is so important. Like, you listen to, we had the two other people that came on the ride with me ended up being Sub 2 students, but when I selected them, I didn't know because they had just joined like a day before. Okay. So they come and we start talking about all the things that Sub 2 has, right? So for example, Kelly Hanno, we all know Kelly Hanno. She's my media manager. She sends me a text the other day and she says, Pace, I just realized literally everything I needed in my life is available to me because of the community. My first deal came from a JV, which she ended up turning into a duplex. My Airbnb manager came from the community. My private money, because I didn't have the money to close on it, came from the community. The contractors that did the work on my house came from the community. She's like, I literally didn't need to go anywhere else to get a deal. So what happens is I see people out there like solo, trying to be an island, trying to be a man. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to be a man. And what happens is you then are not near the campfire. You don't feel the warmth, and you're not excited every day to go to work. Whereas Michael, right now, are you not excited every time you and Steve are texting back and forth, right? It keeps you accountable and makes you excited, all that kind of stuff. So the one little piece of advice I gave him, amidst 100 other things I gave him, is I said, go find a Sub 2 student that has an office in Atlanta, okay? And just go there and say, can I just be at your office one day a week for 2 hours? Or can I be there every day for 2 hours? I promise I'll bring positive energy. I'll buy lunch for the office every once in a while. I'll help out wherever I possibly can, but I just need to be around the energy that a community provides. That one little piece, and then I introduced him to somebody who has an office and has a team, and now that person replies back, goes, yeah, man, I got an open desk for you. Come on in. That is like night and day difference of, I need to watch YouTube. I need to try and do this all on my own. I need to cold call on my own, follow up on my own, no accountability partners, no fun people to like do comping competitions with. Dude, like, it's Crystal Frangos, who's one of my favorite students. She's down in Tucson, says, LOL, be a woman and squat up. 100%.
Yeah, kill the machismo, man. Kill it. Kill it. It ain't gonna help you. It's not getting you anywhere.
Kill it. Bro, oh my gosh. So Michael, what are you going to do on social media? Because here's the thing. We just gave people your cell phone. I think we need to give your Instagram away. And
wait, how many people texted you?
Let's check it out.
And Justin, what do you do are you posting your actions? Like, are you just getting into us? Tell us your story real quick.
Absolutely, yeah. So as far as right now, no, I definitely am gonna apply a page from your book as far as getting loud. Just because riding a page yesterday, I'm seeing the benefit of going on live and posting to your stories, just because it's gonna attract that same energy to you. So yeah, definitely. It's an action step I'm gonna for sure start taking, and yeah, it's so much that I was woken up to just from the power of squatting up. You know what I mean?
In your mind right now, what posts are you gonna do? Is it you just like driving for dollars? Is it you going after deals? Is it you on the phone? Like, what in your mind right now? Like, what do you think it'll be?
It's gonna be a post about this weekend, about how grateful I am for this weekend.
Love it.
About everything that I learned, about everything that, you know, I think one of the biggest things that I took away was, how can I be of value to someone else? And then it's just the money is just a byproduct of solving the solution, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing.
Your bank account is a direct reflection of the value that you provide to the marketplace. That's it. Your bank account. So if you're not happy with how much money you have in your bank account, that means you should understand you're not providing enough value to the marketplace. That's it. There's nothing else. And even if you did everything for free, everything that you did for free, like for example, he came out here, he stayed at my house, right? He's like, I don't have a computer. Told me, he's like, I don't have a computer. I give him one of my computers to work with. Nothing. He didn't give me any money. He's not a student of mine. I don't think he's ever signed up for an affiliate code of mine. I couldn't care any less. Here's the thing is what's going to happen is the goodwill that you send out into the universe is going to come back in an overwhelming way that you can't even control how much money you make. And that's really what this is about. Value, value, value. Now, one thing I'll say about posting that I think everybody needs to understand is that going back to what Brent talked about with imposter syndrome, you need to post. I call it the Clint Eastwood method. Okay. The Clint Eastwood method. Why do I call it that? It's because the good, the bad, and the ugly. One of the greatest Clint Eastwood movies of all time. You need to post the good. You need to post the bad, and you need to post the ugly stuff that happens, right? I failed today. I didn't do a great job, but I'm accountable to myself and I'm accountable to the people that I'm trying to, collaborate with. Tomorrow, I'm going to do better by doing this. Talk about the good, talk about the bad, but really talk about the ugly as you're going through the journey. I told these guys yesterday, I said, I don't have the same ability to talk about things like I used to 6-7 years ago, where I would be like, hey guys, I drove to an appointment. I ended up losing the deal before I even got to the appointment because somebody else beat me to it. I don't have those things to talk about anymore. You guys, Michael, Justin, you guys have unique, amazing things to talk about right now because that's the period of the business that you're in.
Right.
So instead of thinking you're being an imposter, be authentic to the fact that you're just starting and that there are some good, but there's usually a little bit more bad, and definitely there's a lot of ugly, isn't there?
Yeah, my first call down here in California, it was ridiculous. I pulled a pre-foreclosure list, and the second person that picked up the phone just cussed me out. He was dropping F-bombs and so many F-bombs. It was ridiculous. I mean, it does get ugly like that sometimes.
Yeah, but couldn't you have made a funny post about that? Like, hey guys, I just got 42 FUs. And then take a video of you dunking the freaking basketball, like, F you. You know what I'm saying? Like, make something fun out of it. And that's a post that people will resonate with, dude. I'm getting I'm putting a basketball hoop right over here, dude. I'm not joking. I freaking love that idea. Oh my gosh. Michael Jordan, not Michael Pizon. Michael Jordan, dude. Oh my gosh. I love that so much.
I'm so glad that you guys addressed that.
How many people texted you, Michael?
About 40.
40 texts. Not bad.
I'm gonna be responding to them
I mean,
tonight.
people that come on and come off and everything. That's That's
Right.
incredible. So make sure you reach out to each and every one of them.
What's
And,
Michael's social? We need to make sure people follow him
Oh,
on
yeah.
Instagram and hold his ass accountable to continually squatting up.
Yeah.
The other thing too, like think about this, because what did Michael do? What value did Michael provide? Somebody provided a list to Michael. Michael cold called it and got a lead. So here's the thing is if you guys have access to lists, wouldn't Michael be somebody that you guys want to squat up with where you go, here's a list. When you get a lead, let's squat up on it. Like Michael's that guy. You guys should be reaching out to him and saying, Michael, you want to call in a list in Indianapolis? I'll chip in some money on a list. Let's freaking go. Right? There's 100 different ways for you guys to squat up. You know, split the costs on things. You know what I'm saying?
Can you put that JE post up again for the 50 grand this month from Join for? Come on.
Come on, baby.
Michael, what's your Instagram?
Is that you, Jamil?
Michael.
Is that you, Jamil? Did you post that?
Michael
I didn't
Pitone.
post that. No.
Let's go.
If that said I was making $500,000 this month from joint ventures, that would be me. But yeah, it's a little light.
I love it.
Michael _ and then again Michael Pitone.
There
I
you go.
see. You're doubling down on the Michael. I like it. All right.
That is awesome. So, Justin, how much longer are you staying there?
I'm actually leaving tonight. I'm headed back to Atlanta tonight. Yeah, as soon as I get back, I'm taking everything I learned. I'm gonna hit up Chris Campbell and I'm gonna get straight to work. Straight to work with everything that I learned. You know.
So give me some action items. I don't want to just hear.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear surface level things here, Justin. I am going to call this list. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I want to know like the top three things.
So even just from this show, you know, before I came out here, I think I've been really hammering down on the importance of squatting up. So even with, you know, Jamil with Keegley, I've even been reaching out to Keegley franchises in Atlanta and come across someone in Atlanta with a Keegley franchise, and they actually sent me a list. So I've actually been actively calling that list right now and actually have a few leads off of it. So hopefully those potentially go through and things like that, and just drive for dollars in Atlanta, you know, and just staying on top of it.
The big piece of advice I told him to do is, and he's unsure of the relationship with Chris Campbell quite yet because he's never met Chris. And I know Chris. Jamil obviously knows Chris incredibly well. But I know the relationship with Chris Campbell. So I connected the two of them and I said, Chris, I'm sure that there's some holes in your organization regarding the acquisition department because there always is. There's no such thing as a wholesaler or a co-wholesaler or a landlord or anybody that's like, nope, every part of my ship is tip top, right? And so what he's going to do is they're going to get together in Atlanta and he's going to go into Chris Campbell's office and he's going to find a place in Chris Campbell's acquisition department to help fill a hole where maybe there's some lead management, lead follow-up, or something along those lines so that Justin can continue to drive Uber because right now he's driving Uber. So he's going to continue to drive Uber, don't quit his job, adjust his schedule so he can spend 2 to 4 hours every single day serving Chris Campbell and providing value to him and being around that energy that a Keegley franchise can create.
Can I give you a little bit of coaching?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. The number one word I want to like really stick in your brain for the next 90 days, and I tell this to every one of my new students, is the word sustainable. Okay. Because you're coming off of like the greatest seminar, the greatest, right? Like in real estate, you're going to be coming off and you're going to have that passion. You're going to have that fire. You're going to be just on fire. Sustain it. Okay. Sustainable effort, sustainable action, sustainable schedule. I don't care if it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes a day, but every single day you need to do something that is building your real estate business. And this isn't just for you. This is for everybody out there, but especially for you because you're going to be coming off of like, I mean, you're on a rocket ship right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sustainable effort, sustainable action. I'm telling you, you get that in that 90 days, that rhythm, that habit, that lifestyle, that schedule, that's when it starts really, the traction starts building because you're going to start generating leads, being proactive. And at that 90-day mark, things are going to start popping. All right. And so it's just sustain. Take this and think about it. Think about it all the way through November. 90 days. It's only 110 days left in this year, right? So really push this next 90 days, sustainable.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we're talking to people today, guys. Like, check this out. Ahmad is out there feeling like we're hitting home for him right now. And I know Ahmad, he's in the Astro fam. And like, this is exactly what I feel our communities need. They need to understand that not only is it important that you're squatting up with folks within our own communities, but get out and cross-pollinate. Astro family, get in front of every TTP and sub-2 student you can possibly get in front of. These guys are going to be lifeblood. They mean an additional 4, 5, 10 deals a month by communicating and connecting with them. And so what would be really fun, Brent and Pace, would be to figure out a way. I think we did figure out a way. Wasn't it called Wholesale Hotline, where everybody that was a part of our community could get together and work with each other?
That's it. Guys, get in the group, connect here. I mean, that's the point of, I think that's really the exciting part about the live show is this in the side. Like, come on, this is what it's about. That's why we want everybody on YouTube. But if you're not, kind of figure it all out, but really connect with the people that are in there and start making those and take action right away. Don't let it wait till tomorrow. Don't try to, DM somebody, tomorrow or next week. It's just, you're going to forget about it. Like take this momentum that you get from the show and just start building up those relationships. And then all of a sudden you start, getting these deals, man. I'm telling you, it's not rocket science. This is not. Squad up.
Hey,
and bring that energy.
Jamil, I put a link for you on the screen.
Thank you.
Side chat. Can you explain to people what that link
is?
Man.
If you guys are having a hard time with your goal setting, and I was, because I was setting the wrong goals. I was setting goals that were A, not attainable, B, they were just so figuring out how was like one of my biggest problems. And then the other thing is they weren't truly authentic. I was like looking at, I want this thing, but it wasn't, it's more about the experience. It's more about what you're feeling, right? And so, guys, I got a very, very enlightening opportunity working with Matthew Ferry. He is a great friend of mine. He's a mentor of mine. I actually pay for his mentorship. What he's done for me is he's offering anybody that's a part of my community. So it was Astro Flipping, as well as anyone from Sub 2 and TTP. If you guys want to work with him on goal setting, all of this is free. He's not charging. Hit that link. Get in touch with Matthew Ferry. You need to work with this guy. He will help you dial in to figure out, what are my goals? What am I actually trying to accomplish in my life? And being a part of his Ignite Mastermind was something that took me from, a happy, well-paid individual to an extremely joyful, overpaid individual. I'm not kidding.
Unlimited, baby. Unlimited.
If you want to figure out how to pluck the weeds out of your mind and truly remove your limits in life, that's the guy you need to meet.
Yep. I love it. And let's wrap this thing up, right? Michael, thank you. Thank you so much for jumping on here, brother. Listen, proof positive. This is the real deal. You were just following everything that we talked about here. Not only that, but just being super proactive and being you. And I really love your energy. I always have, but just seeing you on here and just the way that you really just you bring it. You bring that enthusiasm. It's really important. So everybody that texted, he's going to text you back. Make sure that you squat up. Thank you, Michael, for being on here. DP, I saw you in the chat. You finished. It was the first course you ever finished. Now go get that deal. That's absolutely incredible. And Wednesday, speaking of driving for dollars, I am going to be doing a show on building the most robust driving for dollars campaign you've ever seen in your life. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Brent Daniels YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And real quick, Jamil's quote of the day: what you lose in safety, you gain in opportunity. There you go. Write it down, everybody.
You guys, I'm just so thankful and grateful to be around Pace, Brent, Michael, you're amazing. Brother Jeremy, for coming all the way out here and being a part of this. This is incredible. Wholesale Hotline is not only one of the biggest joys of my Monday, not only is it one of the most brightest parts of my life, but what I can say to you is it's given Pace, myself, and Brent an opportunity to provide an enormous amount of ourselves, our true authentic selves to the community. And having the ability to do that is squatting up. It is truly time and knowledge. And what I want to share with you guys is start taking responsibility for yourselves in this business. Stop with the imposters. No more fake accounts, guys. No more being quiet. No more pussyfooting around. No more half-stepping. You can't be 5 toes in. You got to be 10 toes in, baby. You got to go all the way. This is not a halfway game. This is an all-the-way game. And if you think you're going to survive halfway, you're going to die halfway. Take it all the way to the end. Hit that bell, Brent, because every single one of you guys deserve it. Every single one of you guys are going to get it. Let's go, baby. Come on. Wholesale Hotline 82. We're out.
Let's go.
Guys, we freaking love you. Thank you guys so much. And Michael, we are so damn proud of you, bro. We are so damn proud of you. So damn proud
of you. Thank you, guys. Really, thank you. I mean, you guys paved the way, really.
Bro.
This whole show just paved the way. I mean, so thank you, guys. I mean, it's all thanks. I appreciate you guys.
We'll see you guys next week. Wholesale Hotline, 5 p.m.
Sustainable, Justin. Sustainable. I'm watching you.
I got you.
Squat
Later,
up.
everybody.
Squat up.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing? I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.